Hi guys, so we are looking at infinite geometric series today. Yesterday you looked at a finite geometric series, and so today we're going to look at an infinite geometric series, and hopefully these notes won't take us too long. This set of notes is contained within the last set of notes that I posted, so if you printed those off from yesterday, you should have this set of notes contained within that packet. So we're going to look at the number 1/3. Which you learned a long time ago you can write as 0.3333333 repeating, which can actually be written as a geometric series. So how could we write this as a geometric series? I want you to think about that for just a second. Play around with it, see what you can come up with. And what you should come up with is that you're going to add 0.3 plus 0.03 plus 0.003 plus 0.0003 plus so on and so on and so on, which would eventually, after you add all of those up, find that to be 1/3. So we can see that this sequence, or this series, 0.3 plus 0.03 plus 0.003 plus 0.0003 and so on, does have a sum. Its sum is 1/3. And it's geometric. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to see that it's geometric by writing this as fractions. So if you write it as fractions, you can see that every single time you're multiplying by 1/10. So yesterday we took a look at our finite geometric formulas. I'm going to write that down for you just to remind you what that is. And so that's if we're adding a set number of terms together. So I have this table here for you where it's going to give you n, and n is the number of terms, and you're going to calculate part of this formula to start with to look at a pattern. So you're going to look specifically at the 1 minus r to the n section of that formula. And we already know what the sum should be, but you can have your calculator handy just to check that out. We know that if we're adding the first two terms of this series together, our answer should be 0.33 when it's all said and done. So again, we're starting by adding the first two. We know what the sum is, but we're looking at a pattern here. So if I work on the 1 minus 1/10 squared part, that should give me 0.99. Then I would plug that into my arithmetic formula, so 0.3 times 0.99, because I already calculated what 1 minus r to the n is, over 1 minus r, and again r is 1/10 or 0.1. And so we can type that into our calculator to verify that we get 0.33. So I want you to pause the video for just a few minutes, and I want you to fill the rest of this table in, because we're looking at a very specific pattern here and what will happen. So pause the video. You guys fill in the 1 minus r to the n part for 5 terms, 10 terms, 20 terms, and watch what happens. So now you should have paused the video and taken a look at what happened as you added more terms of this infinite series together. Again, it's infinite because it goes on forever. So what we see happening is really examining this 1 minus r to the n part of our formula. So 1 minus 1/10 to the 5th was 0.99999. It had 5 nines. 1 minus 1/10 to the 10 was 0.99, had 10 nines. 0.20 nines. This should be point, and then you have 30 nines. So hopefully what you're seeing happens is actually how we would answer this next part. Let's just say as, not a, as n gets larger and larger and larger, what's happening to 1 minus r to the n in this particular formula? Well, I've written it as n goes to infinity. 1 minus 1/10 to the n is getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to 1. So what ends up happening then, is that as we're adding more and more and more and more and more and more and more of these together, if we were to add every single one of these together, our sum of all of them, so notice I put infinity there. Here's our normal, let me erase this. Here's our normal formula, would be A1, which is 0.3, times 1 minus 1/10 to infinity, over 1 minus 1/10. What's happening is this 1 minus 1/10 to the infinity part is getting closer and closer and closer to 1. So therefore, we could just take 0.3 times 1 minus 1/10, and we're going to end up getting 1/3. So what in the end does this mean for us? So here's kind of the big part, the big picture that we're looking for. There are times that we can find the sum of an infinite geometric series. And when we can do that, we find the sum by simply taking A1 over 1 minus r. That's what happened in this equation. So the question becomes, when can we use this formula and find the sum of an infinite geometric series? By the way, notice I used no index here, so that does mean we're adding all of them. Sometimes you'll see infinity, sometimes you'll see no index. So the question becomes, when am I going to be able to do that? So you can see on your paper, we said, well, what if r was 10? What if r was 10 instead of, this should be 0.1 instead of 1/10, like we just looked at. So down here at the bottom, we're going to consider what's going to happen if r was 10. So if r was 10, and we're using our formula that we've learned before, and we're talking about the sum being found as taking a sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n over 1 minus r. We're once again going to look at this particular part of our formula. So let's let y be that quantity, 1 minus r, and x here is the same as n. So x is the number of terms. And so we see this is really just an exponential function. I've rewritten it here. Our parent function would be 10 to the 1, which goes through 1, 10, and 0, 1. It has a horizontal asymptote. And our transformations are a reflection over the x and then up 1. And so if you want to pause the video, make sure you remember how to graph that. It would be a good time to do that. So once you've translated that, here is what we see happening. As our x gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and again, x is the same as number of terms, so as the number of terms increase with our common ratio being 10, we see that the value of 1 minus r to the n is going to negative infinity. Okay, so again, let me pull that formula up. The value here, where r is 10, of 1 minus r to the n is not getting closer and closer and closer and closer to a very specific number. Whereas the equation we just looked at, where r was 1/10, so let's look at it. So again, we're examining 1 minus r to the n. We could rewrite that as the opposite of 1/10 to the x plus 1 if you want to use transformations. And so we see this is a reflection over the x and up 1. Our parent function would be 0, 1, and 1 and 1/10. Then our parent function has a horizontal asymptote at y equals 1. Once I've translated all of those, here's what my function looks like. So as x is getting bigger, or as the number of terms we're adding together gets bigger, the value of 1 minus r to the n here gets closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to 1. Hence why that formula we looked at just a moment ago works. That 1 minus r to the n ends up going to 1, so it's not significant for us there anymore. So then what r values would make that happen? What r values would cause this pattern to occur? Well, it's going to be r values that make your terms get closer to 0. So the terms themselves, like 0.3 plus 0.03 plus 0.003 plus 0.0003 and so on, the terms themselves are going to get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to 0. They get so close to 0 they become insignificant, which is why ultimately you can add them together and find a sum. So for that to happen, the value of r must be less than 1 but greater than -1. So it has to be in between -1 and 1. Or you might say the absolute value of r is less than 1. That's the only way individual terms will end up getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to 0. So, and I have written that on the next page for you. So let's turn the page. So what is happening in the graph as n gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger? When or where the absolute value of r is less than 1, as n or as x there in our graph goes to infinity, 1 minus r to the n is going to 1. And so that's how we end up with the formula that we have. So now for a couple of vocabulary words. So an infinite series can do two things. The first is called a convergent series, and that means the terms themselves are getting closer to 0. So if the terms are always getting closer to 0, they become eventually insignificant. And so what that means is that you can find the sum. And that will occur, like we've said, if the absolute value of r is less than 1. A series can diverge, and that means the terms aren't getting closer to 0. We cannot find the sum. And the absolute value of r there is going to be greater than 1. And if you need to pause the video to write those down, you certainly can. So we've got two examples here. So our first says -6, -8, -32 thirds, and so on. Remember, to find r, you can take one term and divide it by the previous term. So that gives us r here is -4 thirds. Now, are the terms themselves getting closer to 0? Well, you can see that they're not. They're getting farther away from 0. Actually, if you were to graph this sequence, it would end up doing something like this. One positive, one negative, but they would get further away from 0. So since that's the case, we cannot find the sum. This would be a series that diverges. Let's look at example 10. So if we look at example 10, we see our r value is -1/2. If we were to continue to write this out, what happens is the terms get so close to 0 they become insignificant. And so therefore, I can use the formula a1 over 1 minus r. And you can see I've plugged that in there. So I get 4 over 1 plus 1/2, which is 4 over 3/2, and then I used a well-chosen 1, so my answer is 8/2. So I can find this sum. And that's the end of our next video.